Back in the late 1800s, Milton Wright was a traveling preacher. He would often bring home toys for his children from his travels. One day he brought home a toy whirlybird. Made of cork, bamboo, and paper, the whirlybird was powered by a rubber band which twirled its blades and made it airborne. It fascinated his two sons, Orville and Wilbur. When they grew up, Orville and Wilbur started a bicycle repair shop and began coming up with their own designs. The Wright brothers were tinkerers, but they never lost their fascination with flight. Around the world, some other inventors were having moderate success with gliders. That's when the Wright brothers decided to experiment with motorized flight. Through many prototypes and designs, the Wright brothers continued to refine their idea. Then, on December 17, 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright made history with a powered, sustained, and controlled airplane flight that remained airborne for 59 seconds at a distance of 852 feet. It was an extraordinary achievement. Surprisingly, their invention didn't find a receptive audience in the U.S. Many people didn't believe the accomplishment. The press said the flights were too short to be important. One headline said, "Flyers or liars." So Wilbur traveled to Europe and found a much more receptive audience there. Almost immediately, they started selling planes in Europe. Eventually, the Wright brothers sold their first airplane to the U.S. Army in 1909. Even though Wilbur died in 1912, Orville continued with the company. He sold 14 more planes to the Army for observation missions. Orville truly believed airplanes would prevent wars. He felt with aerial observation, it would be impossible to have surprise attacks. And because both sides would know what the other was doing at all times, the desire for war would wane. However, the military had other ideas. In 1911, Italy became the first country to use airplanes in warfare. It was in a war with Turkey and dropped hand grenades on enemy troops from the sky. While it's kind of shocking to imagine, early aerial dogfights were really pistol duels. Pilots actually carried handguns and rifles to try and shoot other pilots. In one noted encounter in 1914, a British airman ran out of ammo. "Blimey, take that!" and simply threw the handgun at a German pilot. Ouch. By the end of World War I, there were observation planes, fighter planes, and multi-engine bombers that could carry thousands of pounds of bombs. Orville Wright was mortified at the destruction his beloved planes were inflicting. During World War II, over 300,000 warplanes were built. On his 74th birthday in 1945, Orville Wright's lifelong optimism about the role of the airplane as an instrument of peace had faded. While he loved his invention, he deplored the destruction it had caused. He said, "We dared to hope we had invented something that would bring lasting peace to the earth, but we were wrong. We underestimated man's capacity to hate and to corrupt good means for an evil end."